Now at 6, workers held hostage at a downtown pawn shop.
Our officer came in and we have a hostage situation next door.
3 people trapped inside by a man with a shotgun.
There's a lot of people, lives at stake.
After a 4-hour standoff, a single gunshot. The suspect dead.
When the shot was fired, our tactical teams did enter the store.
Tonight, the latest on why this happened, what we know about the shooter, and an update on the hostages. Channel 2 News at 6 begins now. The downtown standoff ended with the hostages unhurt and the gunman dead. We have live team coverage from the scene. Our Erica Brecher has the latest from police, and Jeff Preval will tell us about the impact this had on people nearby. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mary Alice Demler.
And I'm Scott Levin. We're going to begin tonight with how this all unfolded earlier this morning. Police say at 9:22, they got a 911 call that a man had a gun inside a pawn shop on Broadway. Also inside, 3 hostages. At around 10 o'clock, a hostage negotiator from Hamburg police was able to make contact with the gunman, but nearly 4 hours later, at 1:42 this afternoon, police say the suspect shot and killed himself, ending the intense standoff.
Now, it all happened right in the heart of downtown Buffalo. The pawn shop, which is called Metro Loan Pawnbrokers, is right across from the library. Because of the standoff, police shut down a huge section of that area. All the streets highlighted in yellow were closed to traffic. We begin tonight at the scene where Channel 2's Erica Brecher explains how this all went down.
3 hostages spent 4 hours fearing for their lives. Buffalo police first got a call this morning from a customer of Metro Loan Pawn Shop. That customer was able to run out of the store and make the phone call to tell authorities that a man in there was distraught and had a gun.
He went into his pocket and he produced 1 single shotgun shell. He did load the shotgun, and at that point is when 911 was contacted.
The suspect didn't bring that shotgun. It was one he asked to see behind the counter. He only brought the bullet. How he managed to have on him a bullet that fit that gun remains unclear.
Again, our information that we have at this time is that the suspect walked in the store. He asked to take a look at his purchase of a shotgun.
Meanwhile, the suspect's girlfriend had received a threatening phone call from him that he planned to hurt himself. So she got in touch with a family friend, Town of Hamburg negotiator Mike Lavallee, who then came to help out.
He had responded to a call that was received in the town of Hamburg from the suspect's girlfriend. He apparently contacted her and said that he was threatening to harm himself. Lieutenant Lavallee was able to continue a negotiation with the gentleman.
Inside, 2 hostages were able to get to a safer place, possibly in another room or behind a wall. But the 3rd hostage was closer to the suspect and more at danger. Luckily, they got out in a dramatic scene where SWAT team members escorted them across the street.
No injuries at all. All 3 of the hostages were able to get out of the store uninjured and are currently being interviewed.
There's a lot of questions still to be answered, but in the meantime, we can say strategy by Buffalo Police, the SWAT team, emergency responders on standby, and many others kept the public and the hostages safe.
The Buffalo Police Crisis Management Team and the SWAT team train very often, at least once a month. Just different scenarios, different things we've encountered, different things that are encountered around the country that in the event that those situations happen here, they prepare for.
Only just now, hours and hours later, is it finally quiet here on Broadway. Just a little while ago, Buffalo police finally left the pawn shop, taking merchandise out of the windows as their investigation wraps up, at least for today. But this was chaos, and the situation wreaked havoc not only on police, the SWAT team, the hostages inside, but also the downtown community where a lot of people walk, work, and drive. That's where I'm going to bring in to On Your Side's Jeff Preval. Jeff, I know that you were talking with a lot of people who were forced out of their buildings or were watching this for hours. What did you see and encounter today?
Yes, Erica. Police shut down streets around the pawn shop here. Those streets have since been reopened. Bus routes, those were impacted as well. The bus routes were stalled, but according to the NFTA, those bus routes are back open as well. We didn't really see a whole lot of a business impact. That's because a lot of businesses near the pawn shop here, they were shut down, but many of the larger businesses are away from the pawn shop. But the largest building closest to the pawn shop is at the Buffalo and Erie County Library, which has hundreds of visitors a day. The library shut down all its entrances except the entrance on Washington Street, so people were able to still use the library. Inside the library, shut down a section on the north side of the building near windows where you could see the pawn shop. The library also made announcements to tell people to stay away from the windows, and this was done as a precaution.
A lot of windows on the north side of our building, and we certainly have a concern for the safety of our staff as well as all of our patrons here in the library.
People in the library were calm all morning, all afternoon long. Buffalo police told library officials a full lockdown was needed. But in the end, all those issues, they can't even compare to what was actually going on inside this pawn shop. And a lot of people who I talked to, they showed real interest, real concern about the hostages. And as we have reported, those hostages are okay. Mary Alice?
Alrighty, Jeff and Erica, I know that you both spent a lot of time out there today. Give us an idea of what the feeling was like for those people that you encountered, citizens who were doing their business downtown.
Well, Mary Alice, I've covered standoffs before in the past, and I could say that a lot of people were calm out here. That was the big takeaway that I took from people in the downtown area. They were very calm down here, which was a good thing to see.
And Erica?
I didn't encounter just as many people, but I can say that this was a very intense situation. I've been at shootings, I've been at hostages in other parts of New York State before. This is the farthest I was pushed back for a period of 2 hours, where at first media was allowed to be quite close to the scene, and we just kept being pushed farther and farther until we were all the way at Elm Street. So all of the Buffalo police personnel involved took this extremely seriously. Mary Alice?
It seems like they took a lot of precaution to widen that perimeter and keep everyone safe, and
yes,
a sad outcome certainly for the man with the gun, but good that no one else was injured in the process. Great reporting today, Erica and Jeff. Thank you.
Tonight, first at 5, workers held hostage at a downtown pawn shop.
Our officer came in and we have a hostage situation next door.
3 people trapped inside by a man with a shotgun.
There's a lot of people lives at stake.
After a 4-hour standoff, a single gunshot. The suspect dead.
When the shot was fired, our tactical teams did enter the store.
Tonight, the latest on why this happened, what we know about the shooter, and an update on the hostages. First at 5 begins now.
Well, the downtown standoff is now over, and those hostages are safe tonight. All this after several very tense hours as police SWAT teams surrounded a local pawn shop. And good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Levin.
And I'm Kelly Dudzik. Police say the suspect shot and killed himself at 1:42 this afternoon, ending the intense standoff. It started before 9:30 this morning, right in the heart of downtown at the Metro Loan Pawnbroker store on Broadway. That's right across the street from the library. Police say a man went into the store to look at a gun. He then loaded it, and the hostage situation began. Police blocked off a huge area of downtown. All of the streets that you will see highlighted in yellow were closed to traffic for several hours today. We have 3 reporters covering all of the angles for you tonight, including the latest on the investigation and how this impacted people nearby. But let's start with Channel 2's Erica Brecher, who questioned police. She's live downtown now. Erica.
That's right, Kelly and Scott. This is the end of a several-hour-long ordeal that left Buffalo police, a SWAT team, sheriff's deputies, emergency responders, and more on their toes all day long out in the cold while dealing with the situation. What I'm going to do is take you back to the beginning of today and explain how we got to where we are now. Buffalo police first got a call just before 9:30 this morning from a customer of Metro Loan Pawn Shop. That customer was able to run out of the store and make the phone call to tell authorities that a man in there was distraught and had a gun. Meanwhile, the suspect's girlfriend had received a threatening phone call from him that he planned to hurt himself, so she too got in touch with authorities. The 3 people who remained and became hostages were employees of the store with no relationship to the suspect. That's according to Buffalo Lieutenant Jeff Ronaldo. According to Ronaldo, the suspect asked to see a gun that was behind the counter there, and then he took matters into his own hands.
The suspect walked in the store. He asked to take a look at his purchase of a shotgun. When he was handed the shotgun, he went into his pocket and he produced 1 single shotgun shell. He did load the shotgun, and at that point is when 911 was contacted.
Eventually, the suspects were escorted out safely. We don't know the suspect's name right now, only that he was a 36-year-old male. We learned today that the that was the only bullet the suspect had on him, and the only shot fired is the one that killed him. How he managed to have a bullet that happened to fit the gun he asked to see remains unclear. Now, even though the scene around here is mostly cleared up for downtown residents and drivers, you can still see activity actually happening at the pawn shop, where Buffalo police are still right here in this area, going into the store and taking merchandise out of the store. So they're still here doing their work inside where this all happened. Scott?
All right, Erica Brecher reporting tonight. Erica, thank you.